Hello uglies, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be answering the question, how would I judge Dragula Season 5? Now, I let you all vote on which season of the drag reality competition shows you all wanted to see next. As a how would I judge video, and you all chose this season, which I was not expecting. I was very much expecting like a UK season 2, which was commented, and actually was the second place option. Or I was honestly expecting a Drag Race season. I did not expect a Dragula season. Y'all really love my Dragula videos, and I really appreciate that. I think I'm just like one of the only people making Dragula videos, like of this ilk, which is interesting because Dragula is great. I don't know why people wouldn't be making videos of this. But Dragula season 5 was the most commented and liked season under my community post. If you did not see the community post, that is okay. Just keep your eyes peeled for the next one so you can influence which videos I'm making. But the comments left by My Little Addiction 2802 and David Fetick 8887, both on Dragula season 5, and they got a combined total of 9 likes on those. So that's the video we're making today. This season is very interesting. I honestly, this cast is iconic. This cast is iconic. In terms of like a Dragula season, I honestly am not entirely sure how I feel about it as like a whole, but like we'll get to it. The rules to remember, as always, are the season has to be as long as season 5 of Dragula originally was, which was 10 episodes, the 8 competitive episodes, the reunion and the finale, and the performances in the challenges need to be based off of how well someone did or how people would predict they would do. So I'm not just going to put somebody in the top when they were originally in the bottom, or vice versa, unless there is strong fan support for that being the case. The goal, as always, is to act as if I'm the head judge and craft this season however I can imagine to make it as fun and eventful as possible, while also being fair with my judging of the season by combining my own personal tastes and what was shown to us on the show. Before we get into the meat of the video, please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy yourself. I love making these videos for you all. It's a very fun time for me. I don't know what that voice was. But people are more likely to comment and subscribe and like the video when you ask them to. So I say it. Not to be a YouTuber on Maine, but to be a YouTuber on Maine. That's what you gotta do. I'm very good to you all. I do not put mid-roll ads on my videos. I saw that option the first time. I said, hell no. I hate mid-roll ads. I ain't doing it. So you should thank me with maybe a like or something. I don't know. Anyway, ignore me. On to the video. Alright, in episode 1, we had ourselves the Terror in the Woods runway challenge where they had to create, woods looks. So, originally in this challenge, Neo Hulu X won, which I completely agree with. I remember watching this episode when it came out, and her like moving the mask and seeing like the fox, I think it's a fox, I'll correct myself if I'm wrong, face underneath, and just being in awe and being like, oh, okay, Neo Hulu is here to fucking win this. She is not here to play. I love this look from Neo, and it's just like it's spectacular. It's truly, truly amazing. And I love Orgotic's look as well. Orgotic was in the top originally. I completely agree. Orgotic, I mean, like, I don't know, there was some, like, I feel like some people, like, what the fuck is the, like, even the Boulets are like, I don't really know the concept. And I'm like, it's very much giving, like, park ranger, like, body taken overs on, like, by fucking, like, I forget what it's called, when the, like, parasites can, like, infest you and, like, gain control of your body. I forget exactly what that's called. But it was definitely, like, oh, like, park ranger got fucking zombie infested by a fucking, like, bug or some shit. Like, I'm assuming that's what he was going for. It might not be, but like that was my immediate first thought, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, I like that. And anaphylactic did pretty good as well. I do agree that the presentation of it on the runway wasn't like, it wasn't like the strongest way to present it, like, with like her acting and doing everything. But in purely like terms of the look, it hit the brief so hard for me. I'm like, okay, it's very much like The Ring, like girl with kind of like moss and shit covering her, kind of ghostly. Like it's very much like gives me terror in the woods, and it can go a couple of different ways with it. I really liked it. Originally Blackberry was in the top, which I just completely disagree with. It's one of those things where like in the grand scheme of things, it is a sleeping bag, like made to fit around her body, and that kind of took points away from me, just in terms of like, okay, so like it's a sleeping bag. And also this, I think, well, technically I think it's like correct. I still didn't like it. The way that she had these like, the skewers that you put the marshmallows on attached to her outfit, and while she's moving around, they were just boinging up and down and up and down and up and down, which like I feel like yes, that is what's supposed to happen with those skewers. They are like malleable's the wrong word, but they do move in that way. That isn't like incorrect, but it really like caught me off guard in a weird way, where like I'm like trying to look at the outfit and I'm just being distracted by the s'mores skewers, and it took me out of the outfit. Again, it wasn't like terrible by any means. Like I'm imagining, but I really don't know exactly where I'm putting Blackberry in the safe realm. I would assume like the fourth best safe or something. That was just my gut guess looking at it. But Blackberry was never in consideration for the bottom two for me, or even the low placement. And I kept the bottom placements exactly the same. I really agree with it. I do agree with the judges that the storyline of Terror in the Woods was just not there with Onyx's. Even though I really like the look, just as a look itself, I think it was very clever. I remember I did not expect the puppet and like the fake arm when I first saw this. Like she had her arms crossed in front of her, I'm like, yeah. And then when I saw the poof sleeve shake, I was like, oh, what's this? And then that was very entertaining. But it definitely did not read Terror in the Woods. I would have, I was like, oh, it's like a haunted Victorian woman. Like that, like, if there's like a Victorian, like, house challenge, I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like, but Terror in the Woods, no. And JK and Satana, again, like, it's already been discussed in the episode. Like, Satana's didn't really fit the brief of the terror portion of it. It just was like a woodsy character. And JK's was the most simple of all the looks there. Even though it did hit the brief very hard. It hit the brief better than the majority of, I think, the outfits did. But in terms of just the pure construction and presentation of or just the way that the look looks, it just really didn't hit the mark. So I do agree with these bottom placements here. Everyone else, Blackberry, Cynthia, Fantasia, Jarvis, Throb, they are all safe here. And we are not going, well, I guess we will have an extermination technically. In my universe, it's already like set out from the jump that nobody's going home here. Because like, I don't know. I don't like when they eliminate somebody in any of these drag competition shows, when they eliminate somebody and then immediately bring them back. Like, you could have just done a non-elimination. You could have just done that, but you're really gonna, like, do that, and then, like, you tear someone away from us, and then you immediately throw them back the next episode. Like, it's kind of like you're, like, baiting us in a way. Like, it doesn't gag me that they're immediately back. I'm like, oh, so we wasted our time. Like, that's my immediate reaction to shit like that. I know that's not it for everybody, but that's the way I feel. And so I would have said, like, as punishment for, doing badly on this first challenge, go hike up that mountain and bungee jump off the fucking bridge. Like, that's the way I would have put it, as, like, you know, here's your punishment for failing in this challenge, and nobody's going home tonight. I think that would have been better. I think it kind of would have been, I think it would have been entertaining to see it happen like that, just to have the knowledge, like, beforehand that nobody's, like, going home here. I think it would have been nicer. So they're both the bottom two, but they're both safe, and just have to participate in the extermination. And yeah, we're going to move on to episode 2. In episode 2, we had ourselves the Trash Can Children Challenge, where they had to do garbage what the fuck? They had to dress up as, like, garbage pail kids. There we go. Jesus fucking Christ. And I think so many people did not hit the brief for this challenge, which is really annoying to me. Because, like, garbage pail kids have, like, there's really the two main elements, is that, like, on the parts of them that aren't gory or gross, they're like, oh, that's a baby doll. Like, that is a child. You know, there's something, it's like sickly sweet almost. And then there's the gory, gross, weird aspect of it. And you're like, oh, that's weird. But, like, it's cute and creepy. That is the point. And so many of them did not fit the brief for me. Like, really the only people that I do think fit the brief were my top 3 and Onyx. Those are the only people that fit the brief at all. And I don't understand the way that the bullies judge this challenge, especially putting Onyx in the bottom. Like, Onyx is, like, listed as the last safe because I list him in alphabetical order. But Onyx was clearly my 4th favorite in this challenge because Onyx actually fit the brief. I saw Onyx's look, I'm like, you know, it kind of has that kind of, like, kiddish vibe to it. It's not, like, cute, but it's kind of got a kiddish vibe to it, which is, you know, good. And, you know, I think the character's name is Derby Debbie. And it's like, oh, it's a girl who roller skates, but she's missing her leg. Ah! Like, that's it. That's the brief. That's it. And so many of the people did not fit the brief, and it really fucking annoys me. Throb Zombie very clearly won this challenge. Absolutely bodied it. With the character Sid Scoops. I'm not going to remember all of these characters' names. I just have a few of them memorized, mainly the ones I like. It's really good. It fits the brief perfectly. Like, this, like, kiddish, like, oh, golly gee face. And then I'm scooping out my fucking innards and making ice cream out of them. It's perfect. Throb completely deserved this win. Originally, Neo Hulu and Orgotic were high. I do agree with the Orgotic high. There's something about the way, like, the concept of it specifically, like the butt, and like the kind of, like, I don't honestly barely understand the concept of what Orgotic was going for with this. But the face, like, they had this, like, you know, prosthetic thing happening with their face that kind of gave that Garbage Pail Kids vibe of this kind of, like, rounder than round baby face doing something creepy happening with it. It fit the brief for me. Again, am I sure what it was? No. Do I think it fit the brief? Yes. And originally Neo Hulu was high as well. Which I disagree with. Neo was, I think, my 5th favorite. Neo did a perfectly good job. It's a good outfit. It doesn't fit the, like, the brief, in my opinion. But in terms of all the ones that I think don't fit the brief, it is the best one. So, I can understand a Neo high placement. But Blackberry completely deserved it. The character, I think, was Bustin' Bertha. With this, again, like, oh, I'm gonna go pick berries, and I'm gonna froth at the mouth because the berries are, like, poisonous and shit and whatever. Alright, too many berries, I'm gonna vomit all over. Like, that's it. That is it. That is the brief. I'm gonna keep saying my annoyance for people not filling the brief here, but that is the brief. Blackberry fit the brief. It's perfect. The bottom placements originally were Onyx, which, again, as I already stated, I completely disagree with. Then Cynthia Doll was in the bottom 2. which I do completely agree with. It was too real. It didn't fit the thing at all to me. It was too real of a concept, and that did not have like the twist to it. And I think the outfit, in comparison to most of the other outfits, was like pretty basic. And then anaphylactic was low, which I do agree with. Anna, I think, did try to fit the brief, where, you know, she had this kind of like, you know, like this yellow dress and was like, you know, dancing and whatever, but then she has like her face kind of like peels off and all these things happen. So like you know, she's got the reveal to the creepy and to the weird, but it doesn't have that initial like cute factor to it. It's just like, and it's also one of those things where I see the like the fake face and I'm just like, okay, well obviously that's coming off. I'm wondering when it's gonna come off. It really wasn't as much of a reveal as more of like a wait. That sounded so mean. That was too mean. I'm so sorry, but you know what I mean. Like it's not a reveal at that point. It's just a wait. And then Satana was safe, but I put her in the bottom because I just don't think she fit the brief at all. It's the same kind of situation as Cynthia, where it kind of doesn't really go much of anywhere. And it's like, you know, she's already got this kind of devil face from the very beginning. And it's like, okay, like, you know, I feel like with a Garbage Pail Kid challenge, I should be able to look at the face and not immediately, like, be like, oh, that's creepy, you know? Like, I think most of the people, I think, kind of work within that scenario. Like, just purely looking at their face. I'm like, oh, Fantasia looks, you know, relatively normal. JK, Jarvis look relatively normal. It's really the bottom three of like Anna, who she looks like normal, but it's also like very clearly like about to come off. And Cynthia, who does not look okay. And then Satana, who's literally like a devil. And it's like, what are we doing? So I do think Satana and Cynthia Dolges are the bottom two here. In this extermination, they gotta like transfer like maggots, like with their mouths or something. Is it maggots? Am I crazy? It's worms and maggots. Okay, so halfway there. And they have to, you know, transfer them with their mouth, and whoever gets the most transferred, you know, stays and the least goes. Cynthia did pretty well in this originally. Obviously, there's a chance that Satana wins, but if I'm betting money on who's winning this, I'm betting on Cynthia. I don't think that's an incorrect bet for me, or just, I think it just makes the most sense. So I think Cynthia's going to win here, and Satana is going to be eliminated. And we're going to move on to episode 3. Alright, in episode 3, they have to make haunted hotel looks. And then lip sync to the Devil's Ball. And I fucking love this challenge. This would be so fun. Devil's Ball is honestly, like, I didn't know it before this season of Dragula. But, like, after this episode aired, I listened to it, I was like, oh, that song fucking slaps. It's a fucking good song. I was going to say it's a sucking food song. That song is sucking. It's sucking. That song is sucking in a good way. And also in this episode, Jarvis finds the key where he can put somebody up for extermination or save himself, because we don't have the exact same people. We have Onyx instead of Satana, but because, you know, Jarvis would still theoretically find the key, and you know, Orgotic is still here. Jarvis would use the key on Orgotic, send them to the bottom. That's gonna stay the same. Just, you know, continuity and everything. Here we have Onyx, where we didn't have her originally, and this is the look that she would have done for this challenge, and I'm not entirely living for it. I do think Onyx would do alright in the performance aspect of it, but the look I just don't really get, because like, okay, it's like a woman burned by her own cigarette, and it's like, okay, like, yeah, sure, like that's a way to die, like I get it. But looking at all the other looks, every other look has like a hotel connection that I can immediately think of. except for Onyx's, weirdly enough. Because, like, JK is, like, bellhop, is also, like, literally, like, the liquor cabinet. Neo Hulu, like, got married in the hotel, fucking fell through a picture frame. I know that's, like, not, like, a super, like, I know it's not, like, immediately connected to a hotel, but, like, I was like, oh, okay, this is the storyline she's going for. Like, having, like, a ball. Like, also, like, it's the Devil's Balls, like, lip sync song. Like a woman, like a bride, or, like, a woman attending a ball who fucking dies by falling through a picture frame. That feels very Haunted Hotel to me. Throb, giving early 1900s hotel patron. Blackberry, cigarette girl. Cynthia, bellhop. Fantasia, lounge singer. Jarvis, rich hotel patron. Anna, kind of a ghostly rich woman. Orgotic, like, hotel employee. Like, it all, like, I can all see them in the hotel. And then Onyx is like a ballerina, like a like a like a figurine in a snow globe. Like, that's what I get. Like, I don't immediately get somebody who could reasonably be at a hotel, or at like a haunted hotel, from Onyx. So that kind of puts her down there for me in the rankings, along with Anaphylactic. Satana's not here, so she's not going to be the bottom, obviously. And so the other person who was in the bottom, Anaphylactic, is going to move down there, which I completely agree with. The tops in this challenge are going to stay exactly the same, because I completely agree. JK killed it. I mean, had, I would say, probably the most original concept in terms of, like, the look. The construction's obviously another thing. But in terms of the concept, absolutely the most original one, I would say, out of the bunch. And killed the lip sync. And Neo and Throb also did wonderful jobs, had great looks, and did pretty good in the performance as well. I completely agree with those placements. And our safe placements are going to stay the same for those that are there. Blackberry, Cynthia, Fantasia, Jarvis completely deserve safe placements here. In the extermination, they are going to be tied to beds and covered in rats and cheese, which is so funny to me. There's something that's so Tom and Jerry about that. I'm not saying that because of rats, but I don't know why the fact of, like, or it's actually, okay, you know what, okay, Tom and Jerry is probably the wrong way to phrase it, but it definitely gives me, like, old cartoon, like, we're gonna tie you to a bed and we're gonna put some cheese on you and rats, ha ha ha, like it's an old villain's evil plan, and that's fun. And I mean, this is one of those exterminations, and a lot of these exterminations is, like, you know, I wish the exterminations had consistent, like, judging to them, of, like, because, like, you can't really, like, since they're all different, it's hard to wager, like, who did better in the extermination. And sometimes the boules are like, oh, that matters, and sometimes they're like, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? So I kind of always take it, at least for me, as, like, okay, whoever's done worse up to this point is going to be eliminated, unless somebody just, like, straight up quits. That's kind of the way that, like, my brain perceives it. And for Dragula and the exterminations, you can perceive it a different way if you want. That's cool with me, but that's kind of the way that I look at it. I don't think like, looking at these people, none of them are quitting. But Onyx has done the worst, so Onyx is gonna go here, sadly. So we're gonna move on to episode 4. Alright, in episode 4, we have part 1 of the Monsters of Rock challenge, where they have to create, you know, kind of like rocker runway looks. I don't know why that was a sentence that I struggled to get out. But I kept the judging of this episode pretty similar to the way it was originally. Just a little few changes here or there. Sorry, I don't know why I've started this accent. I'll shut up. Originally, Fantasia won the challenge, and I kept that. Fantasia did a great job, especially with the performance of her look on the runway. I mean, beating her breasts with the fucking drumsticks is perfect. It's exactly what I'm looking for. like, it's one of those moments where you're like, Fantasia, that is exactly what you fucking should have done. It's so satisfying to see an artist like do exactly what they should have fucking did when you didn't even know it. Like, I didn't even think that Fantasia should have done that, and then she did it. I'm like, oh, Fantasia, that was so smart. It is pretty simple in comparison to the other looks, but simple is not necessarily a bad thing, especially when the construction is very nice. And I mean, Fantasia's look was it was like a chains bodysuit. It was just a shit ton of chains all stacked on top of each other. And that's after reveal. There was a part on top of it as well. And it, like, you know, it really got me together, because like it's an outfit that accentuates her body and accentuates the gag that she was going for in a meaningful way, and that, you know, she's got the tops of her breasts exposed, so she can just fucking beat on them bitches and beat on her butt as well with the fucking drumsticks, and it's phenomenal. Neo Hulu X was high originally. I completely agree. Love this look from Neo. Originally, Orgotic was high, but I decided to move him down to safe and move Anaphylactic up to the high. Anna really killed this for me tonight. Like, Anna had the rocker vibe going on, and it's kind of, I don't know, this might be, like, misguided, but the way that Anna did her look in this challenge it's kind of like the rocker vibe that I expect when I think of, like, their Monsters of Rock challenge on Dragula. Like, the outfit that Anna served really fits like my idea of what this challenge kind of is in my brain, which again, I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or not, but it's kind of exactly what I'm looking for. The outfit's really well constructed. I liked the kind of like white face, green hair, like fully black outfit. That color combo was really striking and really nice for Anna, and she really stepped it up from the past couple of challenges before this. And so I feel like she really deserves this high placement here. Cynthia and Throb were safe originally. They're going to stay there. And then Orgotic, again, moved down to the safe. But I would say it's my fourth favorite in this challenge. Still did a very good job. Originally, Blackberry was low, and JK and Jarvis were the bottom two. But I decided to move Blackberry down to the bottom two. I understand the critique of JK's look being too basic. But I think that JK was going for a very specific time period of rock and fully committed to it, which I adore. Like, it's like, I mean, I'm a Gen Zer. I'm 23. I literally was about to ask how old I am. I don't know why I'm 23. The Scene Kid outfit, well, it's like, hey, its heyday was like a touch before my time of like understanding and like knowing what is like knowing what it all is. I really appreciate, and again, while it's not really me, it makes me feel seen. And I do think the outfit, again, while simple, was correct in what it was doing. Like, all the elements make complete sense to me. Whereas with Blackberry, we have this, you know, we have this head situation with like the white face, purple border, and then just kind of nothing in the back, and it's like, okay, what are we doing here? I don't really get that. The shading and everything just doesn't make sense to me. And then also, I don't like these shoulders on this outfit at all, because like you can very clearly like obviously it has to be connected in some way. It's connected by these sections in the middle that go across like her chest and her back, which is perfectly fine. But they're so very easy to spot. Like, they aren't like hidden by anything. They aren't like under the garments or anything. They're just like in front of everything. And there's the one side of it. It's when you're looking at like the screen, it's the left side, her right shoulder. The thing is like kind of fallen down a little bit. Like, it's not the same height as the other one. The one on her left looks correct. The one on her right looks fucked. It's not good to me at all. And so Blackberry, I did decide to move to the bottom two and move JK up to the low. So Blackberry and Jarvis Hammer are gonna have to compete in a lip sync to determine who stays and who goes. And I thought this was so gaggy when I watched this the first time. I was fucking shocked that they actually like did a lip sync on Dracula. I was like, wait, what? We're doing a lip sync for your fucking life here? It was such a gag. And I'm not gonna say they should do this more, but I think this would be a fun thing to do like once a season, you know, just to fucking, like, kind of throw that shit in there, like, throw a wrench in their plan, in a way. I guess, I guess, maybe just make it a staple for Monsters of Rock. Okay, I was about to say just, like, throw it in the season, and just, like, have them, like, not know when it's gonna come up. But then that leads to such easy rigory of, like, oh, we have somebody who we want to save in the bottom versus somebody we don't care for, and one of them is very clearly a better lip syncer than the other. Never mind. Maybe just make it a staple for, like, the Monsters of Rock to be like, okay, it's a performance challenge, and you know what? Your extermination is performance-based. Fucking do it. I think that'd be fun to have that happen, like, once a season. It would be different. It would be interesting, I feel. In this lip sync, we saw Jarvis. Jarvis did not do particularly well in this lip sync. And so I imagine that Blackberry would be Jarvis here, because I don't see how, this is no shade to Jarvis. I just don't see how Blackberry does a worse job than Jarvis in this. So Blackberry is going to stay and Jarvis is going to leave. And also Blackberry has a better track record than Jarvis up to this point. So, you know, there's that too. It's so sad to see Jarvis not do particularly well in this competition because Jarvis was my winner pick going into the season. Jarvis Hammer is amazing. I knew of him prior to the season, and so I was really hoping Jarvis would do well, and that he just sadly did not do particularly well. But gotta love him still. Say goodbye to our ghostly boy and move on to episode 5. In episode 5, we have the actual performances, the Battle of the Bands portion of the Monsters of Rock challenge. And we have the exact same contestants as we had in the original version of the challenge, so the groups are going to be the same. And I kept the placements the same. The placements are exactly the same. Nothing fucking changed. Well, technically something did change. I did decide to make Blackberry and Fantasia their placements low placements instead of safe placements. I think because of the way that Dragula is, and the fact that this is like a judged in groups challenge, like Dragula is not afraid of putting a shit ton of people in the bottom and a shit ton of people in the top. And so it feels more correct to put Blackberry and Fantasia's low placements, and also, like, just looking at their performances by themselves, like, you know, not by themselves, and also just, like, you know, in comparison to everything, like, the performances in my brain more so warrant low placements than safe placements, so it just makes more sense to me to do it that way. Orgotic as the lead singer and kind of like the front man of this group, it is going to get the win here. I do wish that they didn't assign the leads. That really annoys me. It's just, it's not correct. Because, like, it's so obvious, like, whoever is the lead is going to end up, like, winning the challenge, you know? Like, whoever's the lead on the winning team is going to get it. And that's really annoying, just as a viewer, to be like, okay, well, that's very obvious. You're going to fucking do that. And, you know, make it so, like, yeah, and it's kind of obvious of, like, oh, Fantasia just won this last challenge. Fantasia, you know, somebody that they want to do well. She could win again. That would be gaggy if she won two challenges in a row and fucking sweeped the Monsters of Rock challenges. Orgotic, somebody who they love, has not won a challenge yet, but has been in the top a bunch. Let's see if we can get Orgotic a win. Like, it felt very pointed to me of, like, these are two people we would love to see get a win. So we're going to make them the leaders. And that just kind of felt shitty. So I think that they should just let them choose amongst their group who is going to be the lead singer, or randomly decide it. Like, literally do like a random draw, see who's going to be the lead. Nevertheless, the bottom two of Anna and Neo Hulu have to get tattoos, which is always a fun one. And I mean, Neo Hulu's like been in the top basically the whole season up to this point, and Anna's been in the bottom before, so Neo's staying, Anna's going. We're gonna move on to episode 6. Now, throughout the season so far, like, there's been a couple of differences. Like, Onyx didn't go first, Satana did, and then Onyx went second, and, you know, there was some shifting of, like, high placements and stuff, whatever, but this is, like, I think the most monumental shift we've had so far in this season, and that is here in episode 7, which is the Pleasure Planet X challenge where they have to be alien sex workers and advertise their services. JK was put in the bottom for this challenge. I completely disagree. Like, okay, I get it. I swear I get it. I get it that, like, the outfit itself is nothing to gag over. Like, it's literally like a shirt and jean shorts over a bodysuit. And, like, that's kind of it. But so was Cynthia's. Cynthia's was like a crop top and jean shorts over a worse bodysuit, like literally sweatpants, worse shoes, and a worse script. Like I understand, like if they had put both JK and Cynthia on the bottom, I would have gotten it. I would have been like, okay, like I understand not liking either of these things. I get it. But the fact that Cynthia doll was completely safe and JK was in the bottom too and fucking raked over the coals made no goddamn sense to me when they essentially did the exact same thing and JK was funnier. And like that fucking shocked me. I don't understand why JK was in the bottom here. I think JK was perfectly safe. Like, again, the outfit is simple, but I think the look is cohesive. Definitely going for a specific vibe. Going for this, like, kind of country, like, you know, I'm gonna offer you I'll get you whatever you want. like, it's very much a specific character that I appreciate. And the lines were funny. It was like, I would say it's like the second or third funniest performance of them all. And I would say it's like my third least favorite outfit. So for me, it fully equates to save. Going down the line, looking at the tops here, I completely agree. Blackberry had the most fleshed out character, did a fun like robot alien vibe, which is different than like literally everybody else. And I think killed the comedy portion of the challenge as well. You know, with like the skipping and everything, it was smart choices all around for Blackberry in this challenge. And Neo Hulu look was spectacular. Script was like okay, but like dumb funny to me in a way, and I appreciated that. And Throb was very, very polished, very solid look, and very, very sexy offerings. So I think this top three is completely fair. I completely get it. Organic is low. I completely agree with. The script I didn't really get. The outfit I like was well good. It didn't fully scream alien to me. Cynthia, as I already stated, I think did a very similar thing to JK but worse, and didn't have a particularly funny script to me. And Fantasia just wasn't giving alien at all. It was giving clown. It was giving like Harlequin. It was not giving alien at all. And so Fantasia and Cynthia are the clear bottom two for me in this challenge. In the extermination, they have to get hooked up to a birthing simulator. And in this one, they have to like do better than the other contestant. You know, like whoever does better is gonna survive here. And as we saw, Fantasia like killed it, and Cynthia, well, I think she would do like a pretty good job. I just don't think would do better than Fantasia. Fantasia seemed, obviously there's like editing and shit going on here, but like at a point, it's like, oh, Fantasia could just like do this for a while. Like Fantasia could just go. And I just don't expect Cynthia to do better than Fantasia here, so I do think she's gonna leave. And we're gonna move on to episode 7. In episode 7, we had ourselves the neon haunted house kind of challenge where they have to create a look that also has like a black light element to it. And everyone who was here originally except for JK. We sadly do not know what JK would have done for this challenge, but looking at everybody else's looks, I struggle to see how JK isn't in the bottom here. I mean, just like going down the line, Neo fucking killed this challenge. Absolutely deserved the win. As she got originally. Throb was high originally. I completely agree. Absolutely killed it here. Blackberry and Fantasia gave perfectly safe looks here. And then at that point, I'm like, okay, like, I just don't see JK doing better than literally any of those four. I could see JK doing better than Orgotic, I guess. Orgotic didn't do, like, a particularly bad job in this challenge. It just didn't really read as clearly as the rest of them. Because, like, you know, you're going for, like, it's kind of like 80s haunted house. Like, you're trying to go for that vibe. And Orgotic just didn't really, like, fit the vibe with their aesthetic. Like, with the way they feel like they should have. And considering how JK's looks have been throughout this whole season, they've all been more on the simple side, which again is not necessarily a bad thing. Like I appreciate somebody who like can do simple, you know, and it is not like, oh, I need to throw a bunch of shit on shit, because sometimes like you add too much and it becomes cluttered. And that's not something I ever want. I would rather have a bit too simple than a bit over cluttered, just generally when it comes to like an aesthetic, you know what I mean? But I do think in this challenge, I'm afraid that with everyone else's looks, I'm afraid JK's would appear like the least grandiose of all of them, you know? It would appear to be the worst out of the kind of crew. So sadly, I do think JK would join Orgotic here on the bottom, essentially taking Cynthia's place. And they have to go through a maze where they're getting shocked if they go the wrong way, which is super fun. This is a fun extermination to me. Like, I really like the way that it was shot and everything. And considering that, you know, again, there's no like specific requirements of like, oh, you gotta outlast the other person, whatever. It's going down to track records, and they do have very similar track records up to this point. They each got a win, they each got a couple of bottoms, but overall Orgotic has done better in the competition than JK here, so I would save Orgotic and JK would have to go, which is so sad because I love JK. JK really came out of the season as like my favorite. Like, truly just an icon in so many ways. So unafraid to just fucking do shit, and it's so phenomenal to me. And I'm interested to see their show. I forget what it's called off the top of my head. They're doing like a recap show. I think it's called Recapitation, actually, instead of Decapitation. I could be wrong about that. About for Dragula Season 6. And so I'm very interested to see that, because I'm just interested to see JK do things. I like him a lot. In episode 8, we had the Drag Kaiju Challenge, where they have to dress up as, like, you know, kaiju. Originally, there was one winner of this challenge, and everyone else was in the bottom, which I disagree with. That's not... I don't like when they do that. It doesn't make sense to me, particularly. Like, I think I did do it for Dragula Season 4, I'm pretty sure. I forget if I did or not, actually, but I just don't like it particularly when they do that, because it's like, okay, why are we doing this at the very end here? Just to give everybody a bottom placement? What are we doing? Originally, Orgotic won this challenge, which I just don't particularly agree with. Like, I don't think Orgotic did, like, a bad job here, but Orgotic's look wasn't finished. Like, Orgotic's look, like, was not finished, and the three people I have above him had completely finished looks that had their own stories and their own, like, identity. And so to say, like, oh, Orgotic wins is very weird to me. I just don't get that. I think along with Orgotic, Fantasia did do the worst in this challenge. The look just wasn't giving as hard as the other looks that were in the top and safe in this challenge for me. So Fantasia is going to be continue to be in the bottom here. Looking at the top three, Blackberry, Neo, and Throb, I really struggled on who I should give the win to, because I think they all have merit to them and like, you know, why they are successful. But looking at all of them, the one that gives me Kaiju the most is Blackberry's. Like, this purple moth situation is so Kaiju to me. Like, it really, like, I could see that creature standing alongside, like, Godzilla. Like, it's truly a spectacular outfit, and I really think hits the brief, like, right on the head. And Neo and Throb, I went a bit like darker with it, with, you know, more of these kind of, like, you know, less fluffy, more like scaly and pointy creatures that I do really think are very nice. Neo's just being a touch better than Throb's for me, and so I put them as the high and safe here. But it was a really difficult decision. But I really appreciated Blackberries. Not so I was about to say subversion of the theme, which is not wrong because I do feel like it really does fit the brief. But the fact that she did it kind of in a way that nobody else particularly did, I guess Fantasia did in a kind of similar way, but like Blackberry knocked the actual look out of the park for me, and so I do think Blackberry should win this challenge. In the bottom two, Orgotic and Fantasia are gonna have to, head-to-head battle against each other. And knock each other down with the platforms. And Fantasia was eliminated on this extermination originally, so Orgotic's gonna eliminate her again here. And we're gonna end up with the same top 4 we had originally. The reunion's the reunion. We don't really care about the reunion that much. Everyone's moving on to the finale. There's nothing changing here. In the finale of Dragula, as always, they have to present their horror, filth, and glamour runways. And this is like of all the finales, it's kind of like it's okay. Like of all the finale floor shows, this is like, I don't know. I just didn't live for this one particularly. It didn't give me as much as I wish it did. But realistically, everyone did a relatively similar job. Nobody really crushed the others in this for me. I also just realized Neo's picture is so much higher than Blackberry's, Orgotic's, and Throb's on this slide. Whoops. Whatever. Might be. But looking at the track records of the season, we have a tie for first for the best track records, and that is Neo and Throb. Exact same PPE score. So can't really compare between the two of them there. But they're kind of separated the fact that like Neo has 2 wins and a bottom. Throb has only 1 win, but is never below safe on this season, which is very impressive. But it kind of like, to me, kind of boils down to, who feels like the correct winner. As we kind of like have gone over on this stuff before, like, who is giving winner? Who is the season about, and who is giving the vibe of winner? Like, as I did this with like UK season 5 last year, like, I think Ginger had a touch better track record, but Michael Maruli is my winner. Michael Maruli ate the season from front to back of there, and like truly gave winner energy the whole time. And did very, very well. And I think also did the same with Ruby on the Nail. So comparing these two with the same track records, I'm like, who is giving winner? Who is this season about? And who is going to go forward with this? And who I think deserves it more? And I think that's Neo. Neo Hulu X really ate the season from front to back. Just literally did not do particularly well in one performance challenge, but also did well in her other performance challenges, was in the top for the other lip sync challenge of the season. Like, it's not like Neo can't perform, she just didn't perform well on that day. And then also, not to get into too much of like the controversies surrounding some of the people on this season, funnily enough, Neo and Throb. Not to get into too much of it because those situations are like weirdly complicated, and I kind of barely understood what was happening like while the season was airing when those are happening, and the prospect of going back and finding specifically what happened in those situations and like fucking like Twitter archives from like a year ago and like previous shit, like I wasn't gonna do that. But remembering what I can about those situations, I think between Throb and Neo, I think Neo can very much like more easily go forward and take the title of Dragula, like the next drag super monster, and go out and do good shit with it more than Throb. So I think Neo deserves the win here. These are the track records for this season. As you can see, Neo and Throb both get that 3.75. Very nice track records, I must say. And yeah, Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy yourself. As always, I will leave my Twitter handle linked down below if you want to go follow me on there. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, take care. Bye-bye.